Who doesn't love the 10mm? I love shooting my 10mm. There's nothing quite like that swift recoil and those giant fireballs coming out the front of the gun. Just enough to let you know that you're shooting something with some real power. There's just something really cool about magnum power in a semi-automatic package. And if you're a fan of the 10mm, you have to be a fan of the Smith and Wesson 10mm pistols, because no other 10mm gun came closer to putting the 10mm in the mainstream than these Smith and Wesson 3rd generation pistols. Let's do a quick history lesson, or at least the Cliff Notes version. A guy by the name of Jeff Cooper came up with the idea for the 10mm. He was a big fan of powerful handguns and liked the .45 ACP, but wanted something with longer range and flatter trajectory. So thus the 10mm was born. It dished out magnum revolver power in a relatively short semi-automatic pistol cartridge. The pistol that was first designed for this radical new cartridge was the Bren 10. While this pistol was very cool, it had a slew of problems, and production ceased after just 3 years. The 10mm almost completely fell off the map if Colt hadn't decided to come out with their Delta Elite, a 1911 chambered in the powerful cartridge. Right around the same time was the 1986 FBI Miami Shootout, where 8 FBI agents were outgunned by 2 bank robbers. This incident made the FBI take a look at their firearms and decide they needed something more powerful. So they adopted the Smith and Wesson 1076 in the line of 3rd generation pistols chambered in the 10mm offered by Smith and Wesson. This was probably as close to mainstream as the 10mm would ever get. Unfortunately, this didn't last too long, as the FBI then decided that the 10 was too powerful, and this brought about the .40 Smith and Wesson, but that's another story. This particular Smith & Wesson is a Model 1026. There are several variations on this gun, all having a slightly different number, but all beginning with a 10, designating it as a 10mm. The 1026 is a frame-mounted decocker like a SIG, a spurless hammer, and a 5-inch barrel. It's exactly like the one the FBI used, except the FBI version had a 4 1/4-inch barrel. Its designation is 1076. Also of note is the 1006. This model had a 5-inch barrel and a safety decocker switch on the slide. This was probably the most popular on the civilian market, and it could come with adjustable or fixed sights. There were also several other slight variations on this model. This gun is big, heavy, and extremely well built, and this is all good when it comes to the 10mm. The size and weight really helped with the recoil of the 10mm, and Smith & Wesson really over-engineered the 10 series pistols so they could easily handle any 10mm load you want to run through it. Being a single stack, this gun has a nice slim grip and feels pretty good in the hand. I'm a 1911 guy, so the grip angle being just off that of a 1911, the gun feels just a little bit off in my hand. Also, the placement of the slide release and decocker is forward and hard to reach without changing grip on the gun. The 1026 features the frame-mounted decocker just like the FBI's 1076. This works okay, but it's very close to the slide release, and I could maybe see this being a problem in a high-stress situation, but just for casual shooting it works just fine. Like I said, this firearm is fed by a single-stack 9-round magazine, so you can hold 10 with one in the chamber, which is an adequate amount of 10mm. I've heard other people complain about the trigger on this firearm, but I actually think that it's pretty good. The single action is nice and crisp and has a very short reset, and the double action is smooth and heavy like a double action should be. These guns are also all stainless steel, which is nice because you don't have to worry about them rusting or messing up the finish. My only real complaint about the Smith & Wesson 10 series pistols is the magazine safety. Without a magazine, the firearm is disabled. It's kind of interesting to note that the FBI models did not have this feature. If you've never shot a 10mm, you need to put it on top of your things to do list. It's quite literally a blast. If you get some good loads, the fireballs coming out of the barrel are amazing, and the slightly sharp recoil lets you know that the bullet coming out is going fast, really fast. The Smith and Wesson 10mm pistols don't disappoint. They give you the full 10mm experience in what some might say is the most robust platform for the caliber. And for what little it is worth, in my opinion, the FBI should still be using the Smith 1076 instead of the Smith & Wesson short and weak.